If you've been paying attention to Walt Disney World maintenance and overall infrastructure, things have not been looking good for a while now, as we've had multiple closures in Magic Kingdom for sewage leakage that has happened in Frontierland. You've also had sewage leakage happen at some of the resorts. You've also had it happen over at Soarin and Epcot, as there was a sewage leakage there that shut down that ride a period of time a few weeks ago. And overall maintenance that has been talked about a lot. We've talked about a lot here on this channel about how maintenance is not what it was, as you've had a lot of trash overflowing, a lot of rides going down, and overall maintenance, the budget has been cut and things have not been running as smoothly as they have historically. And to that end, there is yet another story about some of the infrastructure here at Disney struggling as parts of the ceiling collapses at Soarin around the world. And we do have footage of this from people that were in the ride queue at the time. As it looks like over here in Soarin, something out of the ceiling fell, it looks like nobody was hurt, which I'm very glad, because that looks like it could have done some damage. That looks like it may be metal, perhaps. It's just hanging on by what looks like a strap of some sort. Cast members looked very shocked at the moment. Then you had some wooden things drop down there. Now, again, this was in the same building. I don't know if this is related or not, but there was that sewage leak that happened a few weeks ago. There was water damage. They were cleaning it up. So I don't know if this is related to that at all. But it's very possible that some things were weakened from some of that water damage and sewage damage. Yeah, this looks like it just happened, whoever got footage of this. We got a little bit more information from Blog Mickey here. They say repairs are underway on a portion of the ceiling that collapsed within Soarin around the World Queue at Epcot. The repair is to be limited to a span of an area about 2 to 3 feet wide by 15 to 20 feet long. Says there are no restrictions or adjustments to either the queue or attractions at this time. So the ceiling collapsed, sending wood and material into the queue recently at Soarin. The portion of the ceiling that collapsed was near the start of the queue, just past the sign that says all concourses for the airport-themed queue. Note that both walkways seen in the photos below are in use by guests. The walkway to the left of the waist-high divider is for Lightning Lane, while the walkway on the right is for the regular standby queue. It's unclear how this part of the ceiling collapsed or when the incident occurred, but it looks like the area has been secured, and Walt Disney World did not return a request for comment. You can see here. I mean, that is, yeah, you've got the Lightning Lane right here. Looking a little closer, you've got the Lightning Lane right here, and this is the queue. So, I mean, that easily could have fallen and hurting people. People are walking through that area a lot if you've ever been on this ride. So, it's pretty amazing and thankful, again, that nobody was hurt from this. But when you're talking about Disney, the infrastructure is aging, and it seems like the maintenance that maybe should be done to prevent these types of things, again, it's sewage leakage and things like this. We've even had instances in the past of parts flying off the monorail, almost hitting guests. A lot of close calls. Like, obviously, I'm glad nobody was hurt on this, but this had the potential, obviously, to hurt not only cast members, but guests in the parks, which would be a very, very bad, not only look, but just a very bad experience for whoever that happened to, and obviously would open up Disney to a massive lawsuit if something like that were to injure somebody in the parks. But you can't help but wonder about the maintenance and the fact that we do know budgets have been cut on maintenance and things have not been running as optimal as they used to be. And things like this happen and just kind of makes you scratch your head and think, are they doing the things they need to do to prevent these types of incidents, especially as the Disney infrastructure is aging a bit? And as much as, it's been talked about, and I've mentioned it before, that Disney does need to, have new lands and new things to compete with what Universal is doing with Epic Universe. But at the same time, Disney also needs to put the budget and focus on maintenance to prevent things like this happening in the parks. Because even if you have brand new lands, let's say they do them well and they do function really well, issues like this happening are going to be something that becomes a blight. And I do think on some level, we've seen enough instances here where there is something going on with the Disney infrastructure in multiple areas of the resort. There's only so many times you can have close calls with these things where nobody is hurt. And again, I'm very glad that nobody was hurt. But eventually, if these things continue, somebody is going to get hurt. And not even just from a monetary standpoint of suing them and things like that, but just from a guest experience. Like, the worst thing that you can imagine happening is going on vacation with your family and you're in line for a ride and something falls out of the ceiling and hits you. And yeah, I understand things happen, but if you're able to go in and make sure that the buildings are properly maintained, rides are maintained, trash is picked up like it's supposed to be, a lot of these things don't become issues. As I do think if you're lacking on your maintenance, you're not doing the proper updates and upkeep that you need to do, eventually these things will start happening, and then you're playing catch up, trying to patch up holes, essentially, not really maybe in this instance, but trying to patch up holes or issues in the parks whenever these things could have been alleviated before they even happened. And given the sewage leak that we saw previously, I mean, it was above Soarin. They had to close down Soarin. It was more toward the entrance of Soarin. This is not that far from the entrance of Soarin. So I do wonder if this is related to some level of that leak or that sewage leak that happened a few weeks ago, and it maybe weakened some areas here if there was some leakage or water damage that got in. And, you know, one would assume if that happened, they went in and checked these things, but it's hard to know. They may not be able to get up there in those ceilings and know that. Hopefully they go and not only fix this issue, but really make sure that the rest of this area is secure and you don't have these potential close calls. But I do hope maintenance becomes much more of a priority as I do think that has slipped, and not only just from, you know, rides being down and you know, people have talked about the trash cans overflowing a lot more than they used to be, but potential issues like this where people could get really hurt or even worse. And that's definitely something you don't want to happen when you're on vacation or just enjoying yourself with your family at Walt Disney World. But either way, that's going to be it though for this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel, as we do lots of coverage here of Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments, what do you think about this story? And until next time, we will see you in the parks.